Thanks very much. Good to be here. American audience, I've heard so much about you. So I come from Europe. This is the normal size of the people there. Everything is compact. Well, not everything, if you see what I mean. I've got a very big personality. I come from the UK. It's great to be here in Boston, Massachusetts, Newton, the birthplace of Fig Newton. It's great to be here. Well, my wife is Austrian and vegetarian, so it's great to be anywhere but home. Austrian and vegetarian. There have only been 2 vegetarians in the entire history of Austria, and I'm stuck with the evil one. What's up with that? I'm very glad to be representing conservative British comedians tonight. Thank you. The other 2 guys couldn't make it. In their defense, they are in prison. In fact, this whole gig for me is a ruse to get in my asylum application with J.D. Vance. Right. If I happen to look at my palm, it's not because of the jet lag, but it's because I've been sleepless following the US presidential election. What, they're still counting in Nevada? Didn't you know? No, I'm a British-based Italian conservative comic. I've made quite a name for myself. Yeah, thanks for the shock. Give me some time to prove myself. No, in British comedy circles, the conservative audiences know me as the comic with the best t-shirt. Yeah, how about that? And the lefty audiences know me as the comic with the most Islamophobic t-shirt. They are both right. And I sell these t-shirts on my Etsy shop. You know, conservative comics can't make a living doing this in the UK. So yeah, my t-shirt is more famous than me. I don't know how to feel about that. Nice hat there. Tropea, paesano. Right, yeah, how about that US election? That was not the funny part. I don't know. Is that funny here? The US election, it was supposed to be close. But ultimately, the man was vindicated, right? Yeah? Remember when everybody said he's finished? Remember when everybody was mocking him in the media? Remember when some of his closest friends and allies betrayed him? And yet eventually Joe Biden was vindicated? He will go down in history as the only Democrat to have beaten Trump? Just kidding, he never beat Trump. Well, how about Trump? You know, when it comes to presidential campaigns, it's all about the endorsements, right? And Trump secured the endorsement of the biggest of all, and he was also at the inauguration ceremony. You know who I'm talking about? God. God was at the inauguration. God is everywhere. Well, he's not in London for sure, but believe you me, yeah, God saved him. Remember Butler, Pennsylvania, the shooting incident? Yeah. God saved Trump, but even God couldn't save the head of the Secret Service. God couldn't save Kimberly Shield, because you know, some of these bodyguards of the Secret Service, these female agents, they were supposed to shield him from the bullets, but they were kind of fat and kind of clumsy with a gun holster. And so Kimberly Cheetle went to the Congress to explain, and she said, well, in their applications they said they were fit. Also, in their applications, these women said they were good at emotional stability, debating logically, and opening jars. Just joking, some women are good at opening jars. I've seen it. But Kamala ran a terrible campaign, right? At some point, they broke world Zoom record. They had a Zoom meeting between Kamala and 100,000 white women. They called it Karens for Kamala. What were they thinking? Let's amplify Kamala's charm and personality by tapping into the charm and personality of Karens. Our candidate has been wrongly accused of being shallow, self-entitled, and obnoxious. To prove that wrong, here is the endorsement of 100,000 Karens. Good times. Are we having a good time? I flew 7 hours in coach for this. You better be having a good time. So let's talk about genocide. I don't shy away from tough topics. I'm opening for Leonardo, for crying out loud. You know there has been a genocide going on, right? This genocide actually, experts believe, cost Kamala her presidency. How many children have they killed in a year or so, do you think? And mind my words, I said have they killed, not have been killed, because it's deliberate. And they kill these children, and they expect us to believe that this is just some byproduct, some undesirable side effect of them exercising their right, and then they expect us to believe that killing these children actually makes them sad? And they come up with these fancy terminology to justify. What do they call it? They call it women's reproductive health. Now that's an interesting joke because half of you were tense and now are relieved. And the other half were happy and now are tense. Women's reproductive health. But you know they're up to no good when they come up with euphemisms, right? Whenever there's a euphemism, you know something is off. Like when your estate agent describes a neighborhood as vibrant. Do you have this in America too? What does a vibrant neighborhood mean? It means when, my questions are all rhetorical, okay? Leonardo hasn't given me time for audience interaction, sorry. But if you like me, tell her next time she'll give me more time. A vibrant neighborhood means when you go to the supermarket, all products are locked up. Except books. And sun cream. Am I breaking any news to anybody? Conservative comedy is fact-based. Now, speaking of vibrant places, the city of Baltimore, Maryland launched a lawsuit against two Korean car manufacturers, Kia and Hyundai. They sued Kia and Hyundai because their cars were too easy to steal. They were too easy to get into. And this had led to the arrest of a disproportionate number of African Americans. Can you believe these guys? No accountability for the actual culprits? Racism, there's so much racism going on. You know what they say? Babies aren't born racist. They become racist when they learn to read crime statistics. Right? Once you learn per capita, there's no going back. And speaking of racism, how about those 50 South African refugees who just arrived in America? 50 white farmer families from South Africa, and the lefties lost their marble. You see that? Yeah, for the first time we have refugees who speak English, who can grow food, who are capitalist, entrepreneurial, and their women look good so the men don't have to go assault other women. And then President Trump ambushed the South African president. Did you see that? The South African president was sitting in the Oval Office next to President Trump. And this journalist says, is there white genocide? Genocide of white people in South Africa? And the South African president said, what are you talking about? I know this is West African accent, but that's the best I can do. There is no genocide of white people in South Africa. And Trump says, where's Natalie? Natalie, turn down the light, turn on the TV. And they showed a long footage of South Africa's leader of the fourth biggest political party in a stadium full of blacks shouting, kill the Boers, kill the farmers. That was an ambush by President Trump. Now every world leader and dignitary is terrified of going to the White House. President Macron, is it true that your wife beats you up? Turn on the light. Turn on the President Xi, is it true you eat dogs? Bill Clinton comes on, I did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky. Trump is like, where's Natalie? Dim the lights. Yeah, Trump's the best, isn't he? Democrats are in despair. Democrats don't know who to nominate. Now, they used to have a frontrunner for 2028, Gavin Newsom, California governor. He used to be their frontrunner, but after Los Angeles fires, he's no longer the frontrunner. He has fallen in second place, just behind Luigi Mangione. Can you believe these Democrats? Can you believe that the Democratic base adores and reveres this lowlife scumbag loser, and the rest of them like Luigi Mangione? Hillary might come back. Yeah. Hillary lost to Trump in 2016 and then wrote a book called What Happened? What happened? Father's Day is coming up in 2 weeks. Maybe that's a good gift idea. I recommend my t-shirts on Etsy, but you know, in this book, described as a feminist manifesto by New York Times, Hillary explains that she lost the election to Trump because white women listened to the persuasion of their male family members and voted for Trump. That's what she says in the book. Don't you just hate it when a feminist candidate cannot smash the glass ceiling because of all these millions of stupid, impressionable women standing in their way? Have you heard of a place called Ohio? The Supreme Court of Ohio ruled that boneless chicken can contain bones. This gentleman goes to this boneless chicken joint, orders some boneless chicken to enjoy with his family, but there was a bone and it got lodged in his throat, complications, hospital, terrible. And then the Supreme Court of Ohio deliberated that boneless chicken refers only to the style of cooking. So indeed it can be called boneless chicken, even if it contains bones. In a separate ruling, the Supreme Court of Ohio said that strong, independent women can call themselves strong, independent women, even if they rely on strong, independent men to pay for their state benefits, alimony, and child support. That's a bunch of controversial rulings, Supreme Court of Ohio. Strong, independent women. Women say the funniest things. Strong, independent, like, what else? Like, I want to be a pilot for Delta Airlines. A real man will be okay with my mixed race child. How can you compete with female comedy? They say the funniest things. Now speaking of funny women, Lily Phillips is an OnlyFans British model, and she caused an uproar and debate because she had this stunt where she slept with 100 men in 24 hours. So there was a big debate about the society, Western values, where's the Western society going? Do you know who the feminists are blaming? Can you guess? For Lily Phillips' stunt? They are blaming Korean car manufacturers, Kia and Hyundai, because Lily Phillips is too easy to get into. As always, no accountability for women. I need to wrap up. One last joke. I need to wrap up. People say this is the most difficult job in the world, trying to make a bunch of strangers laugh. But you know what is the most difficult job in the world? Being a Mexican nationalist. Think about it. Mexican nationalists are like, hombre, these Americans, they took away Texas, New Mexico, California, made all these states richer and more prosperous. It stops right now. We're gonna claim them back. You know who has the biggest issue with that agenda? The other Mexicans. They're like, amigo, we're trying to get into the US and you want to push the border further north? Have we not walked enough? Ladies and gentlemen, you have been a great crowd. If you ever decide to come to London, drop me a line and I'll talk you out of it. You've been a great crowd and I have been quite accurate. Thanks very much.